Good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
I'd like to welcome y'all to Tuesday, August 12, 2025 meeting of the Denton County Commissioners Court. We're glad to have y'all here in attendance today. I would like to remind everybody to please turn off your cell phones. At this time, I'd like to welcome forward from the Sheriff's Office Chaplain, Caleb Williams. He's going to lead us in our invocation, and our pledges will be led by Chief Roger White. If you'll please stand.
Good morning. If you would bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Lord Jesus, we thank you, Lord, this morning for the opportunity, Lord, to approach your throne of grace, Lord. God, and today we enter into your courts with thanksgiving, Lord, and we worship you today and we bless your name. God, we ask that you would overshadow, Lord, God, today every decision that's made, Lord. We ask that you'd give us wisdom, that you'd give us peace that surpasses all understanding. We thank you, God, that you are faithful, Lord, that you're going to lead us through, Lord, the valley of the shadow of death. We don't have to fear any evil, for you're with us. And we thank you, God, for our officials, Lord. We ask that you continue to strengthen them, continue to guide them, touch every person that's here under the sound of my voice, and I plead your precious blood over us today. In the precious name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please join us in the pledge of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now to the state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Caleb, and thank you, Chief, very much for being here this morning. All right, at this time, we'll go to item number 1, which is for public input for items not listed on the agenda. We have several people registered this morning. I will remind y'all that we have a 3-minute time limit, and I'll be happy to set the timer. And if the timer goes off while you're still speaking, I just want to remind you to please go ahead and finish the sentence, and then we will go ahead and move on to our next presenter. I'd like to call forward Jimmy Bassinger. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me speak.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
My name is Jimmy Bassinger. I'm a resident of Highland Village. I have been for 47 years. I've been an election judge at the Highland Village Municipal Poll for all elections since 2020, except for one when my wife broke her leg. Each of us has spoken from our personal experience, and I would like to do that. The goal of the poll at Highland Village Municipal Complex is for the citizens to have the most secure, efficient, and gratifying voting experience possible. We work to make sure everything is running efficiently, that all the ballots are handled securely, and that the citizens walk away feeling that they are valued as a voter, that we are there to serve them, and that they are a valuable part of their community's election process. The concept of precinct voting contributes to that goal. Polls are located across the county to make it possible for citizens to easily access them, even within walking distance in some cases. The targeted number of voters for any poll is approximately 5,000 voters, a number that can be processed during an election by an election team within a reasonable amount of time, and which eliminates the possibility of long lines. In Highland Village during the 2020 presidential election, my first time that I was a judge, we processed over 1,000 voters every day, and the wait time in line was approximately an hour. It wasn't always an hour, but sometimes we got it down lower than that, and it got better as the election progressed. So the logistical and the numerical components are all in place at these community voting centers, or the community polling places. They're in place for a successful voting experience. Regarding the lack of time to vote due to work demands, Texas state law section 276004 makes it unlawful to prohibit an employee from voting. No prior notification is required, and the pay can't be docked, and so that takes care of the voter who works. This applies unless the polls are open for 2 consecutive hours outside the voter's working hours. These 3 elements address the main issues regarding actually getting to the poll to vote. I believe that these components are only the beginning. People want to feel confident in their voting experience. They want to know where to go, what to do, and that they were successful and appreciated for having voted. This happens best in the context of their community, where they're familiar with the logistical layout, the election workers serving them, and the other voters who are their neighbors and fellow citizens. It's more than just a task. It's being part of something that affects you and everyone around you. If a voter enters their ballot in the scanner and puts on an I voted sticker, they're proud and happy. So as much as voting is a mechanical process, it's as much more part of an American experience. Thank you.
Good, thank you, and thank you for working the elections. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming up today. Next is Sharon Jordan. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a first-term precinct chair, and I reside in the colony.
Perfect, good, thank you.
I want to address why countywide voting centers are not the best solution for our community's elections. While they may seem convenient, they come with significant drawbacks that could undermine fair and accessible voting. First, countywide voting centers reduce the number of polling locations, forcing voters to travel further. For rural residents, low-income individuals, or those without reliable transportation, this creates a real barrier. Not everyone can drive 20 or 30 miles to vote, especially seniors or people with disabilities. Local precincts, on the other hand, are closer to home, making voting more accessible. Second, centralized voting centers increase the risk of long lines and overcrowding. We've seen that in other counties. Voters, waiting hours, some giving up entirely. This disproportionately affects working families who can't afford to miss work. Local polling places distribute voters more evenly, reducing wait times and ensuring everyone's voice is heard. Finally, countywide centers can erode trust in the process. Familiar neighborhood polling sites foster community engagement and confidence in elections. Consolidating them into a few distant locations feels impersonal and can deter participation. In short, accessibility, efficiency, and trust are critical to our republic. Local precincts better serve these principles. Let's keep voting close to home and ensure every voter counts. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, next let's go, we do have one from Michelle Peak, and she wishes not to speak. And next is Mr. Kurt Hyde. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Kurt Hyde. I live in Corinth, Texas. I think that's what you need, right? Just
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Okay, very good. I would like to speak in favor of retaining the precinct as the fundamental building block of the election integrity and not replace it with a countywide voting system. There are many different topics. In 3 minutes, the one I'd like to address today is confusion about where to go to vote. And it was rather interesting because last year in October, I got a chance to be part of a 4-person panel who spoke at the state capitol in New Hampshire, and about how the nation's very first paper trail law was passed in New Hampshire and how it was done. It was also interesting while I was there, and I was visiting with the retired Secretary of State Gardner, and I asked him, do people still vote in the same place they used to? Because I used to work for a high-tech company in there. And the people who live in Manchester, where I lived in Manchester, still vote in the same place. It has not changed since the 1980s. So why don't we adopt that same degree of stability in the places where people vote that they do in some other states. People are saying, well, I'm confused. I don't know where to go to vote. Well, if you roll the dice every time for where people are going to go to vote, well, that helps to spread confusion. So let's stop doing things that increase confusion and replace it with stability. And there are numerous other things too, but I think I'll just address that today. But to say that people are confused about where to go vote, well, look at places like New Hampshire where they have stability. And I admit when there's a building and there's a new building thing going on, you're going to make some changes in there. But wherever you can, just have stability in assigning where people vote. So, thank you.
Perfect, good, thank you. And our final speaker today under public comments is Melinda Preston.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good morning.
I do want to remind people that we really do have the best voting process in Denton County of any county in the state. We are the model, and this is why I do not believe that we should change. But I would like to read a little bit. Okay. In the Texas Republican Party, my name is Melinda Preston. I am the chair of the Denton County Republican Party. I should have said that first. In the Texas Republican Party, the precinct chairs play a foundational and indispensable role. Though often overlooked by the public, the grassroots position is the bedrock of our party's political infrastructure. Whether you're a seasoned activist or just beginning to explore local politics, understand the role of the precinct chair is essential for anyone passionate about shaping the future of conservatism and leadership in Texas. We hold our precinct conventions on Election Day in the same building as the polling location because your precinct chair is usually there. This makes it easy for citizens to vote and then immediately participate in the precinct convention. It's a practical approach that encourages civic engagement and ensures every voice is heard right when it matters most. This is why precinct voting is so important. In contrast, the last two Democratic state conventions failed to reach quorum, a serious issue that undermines the political process. Meanwhile, the Republican Party consistently makes quorum at our conventions because we prioritize accessibility and participation. I am told the Democrats do not hold their precinct conventions on Election Day, but instead at a later date in a different location. Clearly, that process is not working. Every citizen deserves to be heard. Precinct voting gives every citizen a voice. And thank you guys for listening to us. We really do appreciate the time.
Perfect, thank you. All right. Teresa, is there any other comments registered? Okay, perfect. I want to thank you all for being here today, and thank you for providing us your thoughtful input and for staying on time. We appreciate that. Pardon me. Let's proceed next to our public hearings. We have several public hearings this morning. Item 4A is a public hearing to consider the petition for the creation of the North Lake Freshwater Supply District Number 1 of Denton County, located in Commissioner Precinct 1. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing? Motion by Commissioner Edmondson, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are in a public hearing for the petition to consider the petition for the creation of the North Lake Freshwater Supply District Number 1, and we do have Mayor Montini from the town of North Lake. He is here, and sir, if you did register to speak, we're glad to have you. Go right ahead.
Good evening, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We are here to help show our support for the creation of this district within North Lake. This will help us get critical infrastructure into a portion of the town that has very little right now and serve water to that area, and something that we need to encourage that growth that we're all looking for in Denton County, and responsible growth. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Just want to show my support for this today and hope that you guys will approve that later.
Perfect, good. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to the creation of North Lake Freshwater Supply District Number 1?
Hey, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Dr. Mustafa Abdul-Jabbar with ABHR. Just wanted to register that we are here on the record, and if there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer those on behalf of the creation of the district.
Perfect, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Is there anyone else in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to the creation?
Move to close.
We have a motion to close the public hearing by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do we have a motion for approval? We have a motion by Commissioner Edmondson. Second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for. Next, let's go to item 4B, which is a public hearing to consider the placement of 2 stop signs on Liberty Road, one northbound at McNatt and one southbound at Dr. Sanders, located in County Commissioner Precinct 1. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
Move to open.
We have a motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are in our public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to the placement of 2 stop signs on Liberty Road? Is there anyone in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to? We do have, Tina is going to come give a staff presentation.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners, for allowing us to discuss this. Let me get okay. One thing, this is, we're doing the public hearing. Y'all had voted on July the 29th to allow the public hearing for these 2 stop signs that are in Commissioner Williams Precinct 1 on Liberty Road. There's, what we'd like to know is either approve both of them, approve one of them, or neither. But we wanted to go, both stop signs have similar situations, so we did put them together for you to consider.
The biggest question I have then is, what is the recommendation from yourselves?
The recommendation is to approve the 2 stop signs.
Okay.
For both of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
We did put out, after it was approved July 29th, it was put out a public notice of a notice of public hearing, and that notice is given by Denton County Commissioners Court. Will hold public hearing to consider the placement of 2 stop signs on Liberty Road, one northbound at McNatt, one southbound at a location for a public hearing at August 12th, 2025. Oh, southbound at Doc Sanders. So.
Okay.
Anyway, wanted to bring up the locations because it is kind of hard to just explain on just verbally. These are kind of unique, and this is one of the reasons why we want to go ahead and add this stop sign. Is if you can see here, McNatt comes in. It's a 6-lane road. This is Liberty here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can bring up also the Google Earth. That'll work too. Kind of get the background. Okay. As you can see, there's McNatt coming in. At one point, you can kind of see where Liberty was just a 90-degree curve in here, and then McNatt came in. Before McNatt was built, there was no stop signs here. This was just a 90-degree curve. Well, now, when this came in, they did put a stop sign here. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Before McNatt came in, no one stopped because this was just a 90-degree curve. Well, they connected McNatt too, and then added this additional pavement also. It makes it a little confusing since these people here do not currently have to stop, and they're technically not really taking a left turn because they're going down McNatt Road. But if you're coming down, they're going down Liberty Road, the original road, but if you're coming down McNatt, it looks like they're turning a left. but they're actually just staying on Liberty. Well, this has kind of caused some confusion, because you come up to this intersection, and these people that stop don't always realize that these people do have the right-of-way. So we're requesting to put a stop sign here, and then also allowing these people over here to not have to stop. They'll just be able to go straight. And let me go back to the presentation. Okay, here's the proposal, which it'll put a stop sign here. These people that they don't have to come up to the left to turn. If people are wanting to go down Liberty, keep going down Liberty, have to stop to turn left. The people that want to go to McNatt are able to go straight, and they won't have to go through the intersection. So we're trying to make it, also, to accommodate the people that need to go straight, where they don't have to stop in the intersection. But it does allow these people that would traditionally today have to wait for all these people to go by. It will give them opportunities to turn left and go north on McNatt. We feel that this will help solve some of the confusion in there. There has been some accidents, and most of those have been confusion of how this intersection is laid out. Congestion on Liberty also. And like I said, that gives these people the opportunity, instead of having to wait for all of these people to clear out, they can come up here and they can take their turn, and then being able to turn up to going on McNatt. Or these people that are in the queue also, there's also going to be people in the queue that want to turn right. So that also gives them more opportunity.
Okay.
Okay. Our second location is similar. It's just been there a lot longer. Liberty Road. Bring it up on the. We were up here first. Liberty Road kind of comes this way, makes a 90 here, and then also makes a 90 here. Well, this is Dr. Sanders right here that comes in to similar. It comes into at the corner, and it's a similar situation where you don't. If you're not familiar, you may think that this is Liberty going straight, but today these people that are continuing down Liberty have the right of way, and the other two have to stop. What we're proposing is to put a stop sign here, and that'll also help for these people going straight. And it's because it's confusion. These people going straight, they don't necessarily know that the people turning left have the right of way. So I think it would help if we go ahead and put a stop sign here. We have a stop sign over here, and we have a stop sign here currently. So we're proposing to put a stop sign with stop bars. And currently there's not stop bars out there, but we're gonna, when we have the striping, we'll put stop bars all around also.
But there is a stop sign heading northbound?
There's a stop sign heading northbound, yes,
Already.
Judge, on Dr. Sanders. Liberty also has a stop sign here on the corner.
It'll go to a three-way stop.
Yes. But a lot of it's the confusion when people are coming. Let's see if I can go. They have a stop sign here, and they have a stop sign on Doc Sanders, but they do not have a stop sign coming back from going southbound. There's no stop sign over here, and this is where we're proposing to put a stop sign. And there's
Is the Doc Sanders the main road?
Yeah, which one is it?
Why would it have a stop sign? Is it the main road?
No.
Why would you not just have one on the road abutting it, the Liberty? And let the
Actually-
north and south be the main predominant?
Actually, Liberty's the main road, and Doc Sanders comes into Liberty. Because this is a situation to where this was a 90-degree curve here.
Okay.
And then they connected the Doc Sanders to this road. So technically this is which now I think this has actually become more of a thoroughfare too, because down on the Fish Trap to turn right down, if you go Doc Sanders or Fish Trap, it currently warrants a dual right. So there's definitely the traffic is in here, but I think at one time Liberty was the primary road and Doc Sanders just connected to it, but now I think Doc Sanders is also, so these people are trying to turn left also. And then, people coming from here, they don't have to stop. So if somebody comes up to a stop sign, do they know that these people aren't gonna stop?
Okay.
Tina,
Yeah.
have there been accidents at this location?
Yes, there have been accidents at this location, at both locations, and, maybe get Jeff up here to explain it, if you don't mind, Jeff. A lot of it's confusion on the left turns.
Okay, members, are any other questions? Ms. Massey? Any other questions? Are you all good? All right. Thank you, Tina. Very
Okay,
good.
thank
Is there
you.
anyone else in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to the placement of the two stop signs? Is there anyone else in attendance? Hearing none, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
close.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries
to approve.
unanimously. We have a motion to
Second.
approve by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Next is item 4C, for a public hearing to discuss and 1, approve the Denton County Clerk's Records Archive Plan, and 2, approve the fund plan for the continued collection of the $10 preservation and restoration fee by the county clerk. And we do have our county clerk with us, Ms. Julie Luke. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
Move to open.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are in our public hearing. Good morning, Ms. Luke.
Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. At this time, we are requesting to continue the collection of the $10 fee on all of the real property recordings. And again, this is for the continued archive preservation and digitization of our important Denton County records. We do work with all of the other departments within the county that don't have access to these funds. And currently, if you look at your backup paperwork, our focus this year is going to be in assisting the district clerk in his efforts.
Perfect. Good. Is there anyone else, any questions of our county clerk? Anyone? Okay. All right. Thank you, Julie. Now, is there anyone else in attendance wishing to speak in favor of or opposed to the county clerk's records archive plan and the fee associated thereof? Is there anyone else in attendance wishing to speak in favor or opposed? All right. Hearing none, do we have a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Commissioner Mitchell. Second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do we have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Julie, for all
Thank
that
you,
you
Ms.
do.
Luke.
Yeah.
All right, next is item 5A, approval of bill report payments from CSCD Community Corrections, TAIP, Sheriff's Training, Sheriff's Forfeiture, VIT interest, and DA forfeiture funds are presented for recording purposes only. Mr. May.
Thank you, Judge. I have no changes today. Recommend approval as presented.
Perfect, good. Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion by Commissioner Falconer? Second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 6A, approval of the Evaluation Committee's recommendation to rank Alliance Geotechnical Group as the most qualified firm for the jail kitchen laundry stucco replacement under RFPQ 202619, Material Testing Services, Building Construction.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 6B, approve the renewal of RFP 222692, Medical Laboratory Human Resources to Pinnacle Health Technologies Incorporated. Motion by Commissioner Edmondson.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, item 6C, approval of acknowledgement of notification of acquisition and vendor name change of CEC Facilities Group LLC to Sterling Infrastructure Incorporated.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's go to item 6D, approval of the acceptance of $32,349.28 in Amazon vouchers donated to Denton County through the Texas Association of Counties Risk Management Pool, TACRMP 2025 Employee Safety Equipment Program.
Move to approve. approve.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 6E, approval of specifications and authority to advertise for ITB 252881 extermination services.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, item 6F, approval of specifications, authority to advertise for ITB 252876, limestone rock asphalt.
I move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Edmondson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is 6G, approval of specifications, authority to advertise for ITB 252880 concrete repairs.
I move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Mitchell, second by Commissioner Edmondson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is 6H, approval of specifications and authority to advertise for ITB 252878 cold mix asphaltic pavement.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Edmondson, second by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 7A, report for miscellaneous equipment and software services presented for recording purposes only. And I will check that off. Next, let's go to item 7C, approval and of any appropriate action related to the fiscal year 2026 Denton County budget. We will do that after our budget hearing today. Let's go to 8A, which is a report from Human Resources regarding hiring actions of elected officials. This is presented for recording purposes only. Mr. Hernandez.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. We have one promotion in juvenile probation, one new hire in juvenile probation, one new hire in adult probation, one new hire in the district attorney's office, one new hire in the district clerk, and one promotion in the sheriff's office. That's it for this week.
Perfect, good, thank you. Next is item 10A, approval of the preliminary acceptance of the Rappy Road culvert replacement project and any appropriate action.
I move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edmondson, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion?
Ricky Road.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 12A, approval of the 2025-2026 interlocal agreements for shared governance communications and dispatch services system between Denton County and the Aubrey ISD Police Department, Copper Canyon Police Department, the Krugerville Police Department, Lake Dallas Police Department.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 12B, approval of the 2025-2026 interlocal agreements between Denton County and the Aubrey ISD Police Department, Copper Canyon Police Department, Lake Dallas ISD Police Department, Krugerville Police Department for the use of the Denton County radio communications system. Motion by Commissioner Mitchell, second by Commissioner Edmondson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is 12C, approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement for the 2025-2026 between Denton County, Texas and Cook County, Texas for the emergency housing and care of inmates.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is 13A, approval of the order of election for the November 4th, 2025 special election for the purpose of voting to adopt or reject the proposed constitutional amendments as submitted by the 89th Legislature regular session of the state of Texas and any appropriate action. Motion by Commissioner Mitchell. Chair will second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is 13B, approval of the Denton County Fire Code for the 2021 edition of the International Fire and Building Codes with amendments to include the Denton County Fire Code permit fee schedule and any appropriate action.
I move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edmondson, second by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I want to thank the staff for all their hard work in getting us to that point of updating that and being very mindful of that. Let's go to item 14A, approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between Denton County, Texas and the City of Louisville, Texas, provide engineering, right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation, inspection, and construction to improve Huffines Boulevard to a 4-lane undivided roadway between Corporate Drive and Stonewall Drive located in the City of Louisville and Denton County Commissioner Precinct 3 at an estimated cost of $4,650,000, with Denton County agreeing to contribute $2,325,000 $2,325,000 towards satisfactory completion of the project with funding to come from HUD Funds Boulevard, Precinct 3, Trip 22, order line item 8094, CC 90200, SC 90004, PR 9063, and any appropriate action. Motion by Commissioner Mitchell, second by Commissioner Edmondson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 14B, approval of the agreement for guardianship services between Denton County, Texas and Harper Advocacy Services Incorporated in a base amount of $41,666.67 per month and an amount not to exceed $500,000 for fiscal year 2026 to come from the guardianship services order line item 1001 CC 2015048 SC 48092 as recommended by the probate court.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner
Second.
Williams, second by Commissioner Falconer. Any discussion?
Do we have anyone here from Harper?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's go back to the beginning of the agenda. Let's go to our consent agenda today. Members, are there any items you'd like to pull, or do we have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
We have a motion for approval by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 2A, there are no order-making appointments actually on that one. Let's go to item 2B, is approval of payroll. Item 2C is approval of budget amendment request 2025 for the 2025-26 for the purchasing department to transfer $675 from technology software services to legal advertisements for additional funding needed for legally required newspaper advertisements. We're glad to get that done. Let me see if there's any outstanding items here. We'll
I'm
do
sorry,
that
Judge.
later. What's that?
I didn't notate a vote for that one.
I thought we voted right before I read the item.
We did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor, say
Thank you.
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and take a slight recess before the budget hearing that's set for 10 o'clock. ahead and it's 10:06 and we've reconvened from our recess. Let's go to item 7B, which is a presentation for the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. This morning, I'm going to be providing an overview of the FY 2026 recommended budget. And as I mention every year, we of course work closely with the auditor's office who provides the revenue side of things as well as the estimated expenditures. We also work closely with the tax office who provides the necessary tax rates for us to be able to develop the recommended tax rate, which is what we use to be able to balance the budget. In developing the FY 2026 recommended budget, of course, one key consideration was population growth. From the latest estimates from the North Central Texas Council of Governments that were released this past May, it basically showed that the resident count within Denton County grew by approximately 31,000 residents between January of 2024 to January of 2025. And so, of course, whenever you have an increase in residents like that, you're going to have an increase in service demand as well. So as we're going through the various increases in the budget, you will notice that a lot of those are directly tied to population increases. Another notable investment that we have in the recommended budget is a 6% pay structure adjustment. That does increase the minimums and the maximums of the pay scale by 6%. So it essentially will help with recruitment and retention efforts. It is not only going to help us keep our pay competitive in the job market, but it's also providing a cost of living adjustment to employees as well. And so that is reflective of one of the court's priorities, which is to continue to invest in the Denton County workforce. That's a 6%, and it's a pay structure adjustment, so it's going to move the pay scales by that 6% with employees in them. And another notable adjustment as well is that we are including various funding to enhance public safety. And that's another one of the court's priorities that we're including in the recommended budget as well. And it takes many shapes. We're including several positions for public safety departments like the sheriff's office, the fire marshal's office. We're including positions not only in these public safety departments, but we're also including strategic funding for the fire and services plan for FY 2026. We're also sustaining funding that was included in FY 2025 for detention officers. And so all of these things are ensuring that we keep these departments well-equipped to address some of these population increases that I was mentioning earlier. But we're accomplishing all of these things while at the same time meeting another one of the court's priorities, which is to continue to lower the tax rate. We are lowering the tax rate by an even greater amount than the prior year. And since 2021, we've lowered the tax rate by about 4.5 cents, over 4.5 cents really. And just to give you an idea, every cent right now, based on the current taxable value, is worth $18 million. So that's just to give you an idea of how much revenue is given back to the taxpayers with that. And on this next slide, you're going to look at the ending fund balance for the general fund across 10 years. From 2017 to 2024, you're looking at the actual ending fund balance. And on 2025 and 2026, you're looking at the estimated ending fund balance. So you will notice that there is a $2 million difference between 2025 and 2026. That is because we are utilizing $2 million in 2026 to fund or offset the cost of one-time capital equipment for technology equipment. And that equipment was included as part of the CIP process. But we do have approximately, or at least we're meeting the requirement to have a fund balance in the general fund to cover at least 35% of the general fund budget. And that is what the rating agencies like to see so that we can maintain our AAA bond rating. And the general fund budget is approximately $273 million for FY 2026. So I'm going to pass it off to the county auditor. He's going to be going over the revenue portion of the presentation, and then I'll pick it back up.
Thank you, Alejandro. This right here is our 8 sources of funding for our budget. All of these are revenues except the last one, which is the fund balance reserves. Alejandro mentioned we had $2 million from the general fund. And this, and I show this every year, this is a pie chart showing the sources of our revenue. As you see, as always, property taxes is our dominant revenue, which is 75% of our total budget, our revenue funding budget. And 9% is coming from fund balance, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what funds that comes from too, but only $2 million is from the general fund. And interest revenue kind of fluctuates back and forth too. I wanted to mention that, which is at 3%. And actually our actual collections were much higher than estimate, but this is showing the estimates for next year. And based on what the Fed's been doing lately, I kind of think that it may be a little bit on the low side on the estimates for next year's budget too. Now here is, this is not exactly an apples to apples comparison because FY24 shows actuals, but I thought you might like to see this perspective on where the budget is compared to the actuals. But the 2025 number is what I projected to end up with at the end of the year this year. And this was done several months ago, and I think some of the numbers, if I was going to do it today, would change somewhat too. And then you see what's in the recommended budget for FY26. And one thing I wanted to mention on the tax revenues, we are actually budgeting now or estimating more taxes than the tax levy, and I've talked to you all about the reasons for that. The biggest reason is for deferrals, and we're actually adding $8.5 million to the budget, or to the revenue estimates for taxes this year, which is less than half of the deferral amount. So, and we'll probably, over the next 2 years, add a little bit more, and I'll work with y'all and kind of see what you're thinking on that too. But for this year, it was 8.5, 7.2 million is in the general fund. And then fees of office, that one is I kind of like that we're on our 5-year trends. We've finally dropped off the COVID year, so I'm starting to get more normal trends. But the fees of office, this has been consistent over the past few years. You see actually the budget amounts pretty close to the actual in 2024. But you can't see it on here, but the fees actually increased the budget, the revenue estimates by over $1 million. So it was a significant increase on the budget because our collections have been a little higher. The fines, actually I increased the revenue estimate by about 300,000, but these have been, the last few years have been consistent. They've been kind of declining slowly since 2007, mostly because of changes in legislation and how collections are done. Also, I've heard some of it is because of law enforcement and what certain crimes that aren't necessarily arrests made for. And then intergovernmental revenue, I wanted to mention on here, this does not include any of the grants that y'all accept throughout the fiscal year. This is, but in the actuals, you do see that reflected in the estimate for 2025. That's why that number is so much higher. And I also wanted to mention the ARPA. Those revenues are recognized as we spend the funds. So, and that's not part of the adopted budget either. But it will impact the actuals when next year when you see that. As we spend the money, we actually recognize the revenue. Then auto registrations, I increased the, in total, the estimate by 600,000. This has been increasing. It took a huge increase about 3 years ago, and it's been increasing steadily since then. And you see in 2024, we collected 16.7 million. estimated $16.3 million, which is probably conservative for next year. I'd rather shoot a little low than get it off and put pressure on the budget.
And Jeff, I
Yes.
just want to, and this is what we're keeping, because some of the auto registration just passes to.
That's correct. This is what the county keeps.
Yep.
Yeah, we do make quarterly payments to the state for their portion of it. So,
Right.
So this is what we can recognize as revenues.
Got it.
And the miscellaneous, I usually tend to keep the budget around a little over 4 million, but and there's a whole lot of accounts involved in that, but it tends to fluctuate dramatically from year to year. There was one year about 4 years ago that it was just over 4 million, but we get different sources of revenue that sometimes are unexpected, and sometimes it just kind of varies from year to year. So, but we don't usually depend on that very much when we're adopting the budget. And then interest revenue. I mentioned earlier the Fed hasn't dropped interest rates, so our interest revenue is actually it's going to end up higher than the $15.9 million as you see in the estimate, because I was when I estimated earlier I was expecting the Fed to drop the rates. And next year I estimated $14.1 million, but if the rates don't drop, that's going to be a lot higher also. But I do expect the rates to eventually slowly drop, and when that happens, that also will impact our tax revenues, I think, because it will increase property values. And so sometimes when one thing happens, it affects another area it also impacts our debt rates and maybe possible refundings. And then I was wanting to get down to the fund balance. You see $38.7 million is in fund balance, utilized fund balance this year. Only $2 million of that is from the general fund. Most of that, it's $18.6 million, is coming out of permanent improvement for permanent improvement projects. And then 7.9 of that is for debt service, where we are going to utilize some of our debt to issue tax notes, which will come to you later this month. So that's all of those. And then the next slide, this is one thing that I like to show you every year. This basically shows that our taxpayers are paying their taxes. You see in 22, 23, and 24, the percent of the levy in the middle column, it kind of decreased a little bit, but it's still very high compared to most other counties at 98, in 2024, 98.5% collections, and extremely high. And so they're very good at paying their taxes. So anyway, I like to point that out sometimes when I talk to the bond rating agencies too, as well as this chart here. And these are right out of our ACFR, by the way. This shows the top 10 taxpayers in 2024 compared to 2015, 10 years before. And what I wanted to point out is, even though the number increased by 400,000 approximately, the percentage of the roll in 2015 was 3.21% for the top 10 taxpayers. Now it's only 1.19%, which shows we've gotten even more diversified across the county. So, so that's something very important to help to maintain our bond rating too. So I always like to point that out. So,
Jeff,
yes.
just a question back. You were talking about how the collections are really good. How does that compare to other counties? I mean, I think it's great that we're collecting in that.
It can vary from county to county, but there's some counties that I've seen it as low as maybe in the 90% or
Wow.
even in the 80s.
Wow.
And that's for usually the current year. And then you see in the last column, we still collect taxes for the prior years, and that's what that reflects.
Right.
But,
Right.
I've seen that in other counties, especially in smaller counties. You'll tend to see that happen more so.
Got it. Thank you.
So is there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. I think you do a great job, and I appreciate all your thoughtful analysis and conservative approach on the revenue expectations. Okay, good. All right, Alejandro.
Okay, and on this next slide, you'll see a comparison, really a high-level comparison between the FY 2025 adopted budget and the FY 2026 recommended budget. So if you look at the bottom, towards the bottom right, you'll see that the budget is increasing by 35.7 million or 8.58%. And the majority of that is, as always, in the general fund, which is at the very top row, just because the general fund makes up the largest portion of the budget. It's approximately 2/3 of the entire budget. But there is also a notable increase at if you look at the very bottom row for the Permanent Improvement Fund, which is increasing by 14.24 million. And only 2 million of that is new tax revenue. So the levy on the Permanent Improvement Fund is going up by 2 million, whereas the rest of it is a utilization of fund balance for one-time capital expenses, which is kind of the purpose of that, the Permanent Improvement Fund, is to fund one-time large capital expenses. There's also another notable change here that you'll see for the Juvenile Probation Fund, which is showing a decrease of 3.8 million. That is not a true decrease. It's just a change in the grant management process at the request of the auditor's office. So we're just going to be pulling out grants from the Juvenile Probation Fund and just handling it outside of the adopted budget process. So that funding will be allocated through a budget amendment, as I said, outside of the process. And then on the next few slides, you'll see basically what makes up that $35 million increase in the budget. So as you can see here, public safety is the category that does result in the largest increase in the budget at 11.1 million. Part of that is due to the 40 detention officers that were added in FY 2025. So we are continuing to budget for those in FY 2026. But there are also several positions that were added for various public safety departments, and we're going to go over those in detail in a minute. There's also funding that was included for the design of a fire station that's a part of the fire services plan as well. And then, of course, you will see various increases due to the impact of inflation, such as it's impacting the cost of the food for the jail, for example, like paper products that are used by the kitchen. And then you'll notice that pay-as-you-go projects is the category that is increasing the most following public safety at 7.5 million. As a reminder, these are basically projects that we fund through our Permanent Improvement Fund mostly, utilizing like a pay-as-you-go financing method. So instead of issuing debts to fund projects, we issue them with cash that we have on hand, usually from the Permanent Improvement Fund. And in this case, the increase is mostly due to the phase 2 of the electrical and generator upgrade project, which was included as part of the CIP process as well. And then we also consolidated some funding for repairs and maintenance and remodeling. We used to have this funding basically spread out in a few different places, so we consolidated it in one location within the Permanent Improvement Fund just to streamline the process a little bit, but we did work with facilities and the auditor's office on that. Judicial and legal is increasing by 5.2 million due to some new positions that were being recommended for a couple of the courts as well as for the district attorney's office. And then you're seeing the increase for various court-related expenditures. Some of that is due to some unfunded mandates from this last legislative session. And then some of that is due to increases in court-appointed attorneys. I do mention every year how indigent defense is one of the largest unfunded mandates that counties have. And then you will also see a new category on there that's for preventative maintenance, which is causing an increase of 4.7 million. That is basically that's related to the third party conducting the facility condition assessment. which the facilities department took and incorporated that plan as part of the CIP process as well. So as part of the CIP process, we do have a 5-year plan to address preventative maintenance needs. So what you're seeing here, the $4.7 million, is the funding for FY 2026, and it is within its own line item in the Permanent Improvement Fund. And the whole purpose of this is to try to extend the life of some of our important capital assets that we have, like our buildings and facilities.
And Alejandro, it's just good to point out for the citizens watching that ultimately saves us money. It's not it's because it's a whole lot cheaper.
It's more cost effective
to do it up front than it is to do it when something breaks.
Yes, sir, that's correct. General administration is increasing by $4.4 million. That's mostly due to a $2.1 million increase in unappropriated contingency. As you know, this year we've mostly utilized our unappropriated contingency, so we are recommending an increase in it for next year's budget. And then you're also seeing some increases across our non-departmental budget within the general administration as well. Some of it due to insurance, as the cost of insurance, for example, continues to go up, but also as we obtain new properties that have to be insured. Same thing for vehicle replacements. You are seeing the cost of vehicles continue to go up as well, but also as you add additional positions that have vehicles, that just increases the fleet, and so that's more vehicles that have to be replaced as well year after year.
I also want to add to that, and I want to say thank you to the rest of my coworkers up here, that the Vehicle Assessment Committee has been very aggressive on how we acquire vehicles now, and that's a big thanks to this group here, and obviously purchasing as well. So thank you guys so much for that.
And then you'll see that the next largest increase is in debt service, which is going up by $1.9 million. That's partly due to a tax note issuance that's needed so that we can be able to reimburse ourselves for some of the fire and rescue equipment that was purchased earlier this year, as well as for some capital investment in judicial space, which again kind of goes back to the increase in population and how it's affecting the court system. The next largest increase is in technology services at an increase of $1.8 million. That is due to some new positions that were added to this category, but also, as you recall, there were a couple positions that were transferred earlier in the year from elections over to the GIS department, which falls under technology services. And then there's also some new equipment that is being included, one-time capital equipment, which once again was reviewed as part of the CIP process. And then a lot of the software maintenance increases are affecting this category since most of the software maintenance funding for it is included in the countywide technology budget. We also included funding for a one-time Workday audit, which is our new ERP, as well as some ongoing support in the form of consulting services for the Workday ERP. And then forfeiture funds, you can see, is increasing by $1.1 million. Statutorily, the Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney are required to submit their budget for forfeiture funds to Commissioner's Court. And in this case, that increase is partly due to capital equipment that's being requested for the Sheriff's Law Enforcement Unit. Financial administration is increasing by $1 million. That's due to new positions that are being recommended for the Auditor's Office as well as for the Tax Office. But then you also have the deferred impact of positions that were added to the Tax Office. As you recall, I think it was in January of this year, there were 4 positions that were added for the Tax Office. So we're having to budget those for FY 2026. Public health is increasing by $453,000 due to a new position recommendation and then the impact of inflation across some maintenance and operation line items within public health. And then we have a category where we group several small departments and funds, which is increasing by $221,000. But one of the largest increases in there is due to the increase in the budget for the Denton Central Appraisal District. As you'll recall, that funding is basically made up of funding provided by not only the county, but other taxing entities within the county, like cities and school districts as well. They utilize a funding formula, so as their budget goes up, depending on what happens with the tax levies for taxing entities, that's how they determine how much funding comes from each taxing entity. And then you'll see that we...
So, Alejandro, just again to clarify, because we seem to have... We help fund it as one of the many taxing entities. It is not part of Denton County. the Denton Center?
Yes, a completely separate entity from
Yes,
Denton County.
thank you.
And then you will see that we did receive an increase in the tobacco settlement distribution from the state. That entire increase goes towards the funding for the social service agency. So that there was an increase of $111,000 that we received from this distribution that's being passed off to the social service agencies. And then you'll also see that there was a decrease in interfund transfers required. This is basically where we transfer funding from the general fund to some of the very small funds that we have that either they don't receive enough revenue from fees that they collect, or maybe the expenses are too high. So in this case, it's a good thing that we're needing less revenue to transfer over from the general fund. And then, of course, you'll see the decrease in juvenile probation, which, once again, is not a true decrease, but within that category, there is a new position recommendation as well. These various increases and decreases make up the total change of $35.7 million, and these categories do include the 6% pay structure adjustment in that impact as well. And then here you're looking at a breakdown between those services in the budget that are considered mandated versus essential services and non-mandated. I mentioned the court system earlier. That's something that's considered mandated. Our sheriff's office, our operating our county jail. Unlike cities, counties, a lot of what the counties do are really considered mandated, since counties are considered an arm of the state. So over 50, you can see that over half of what we do is considered mandated services, with 34% of the services that we provide being considered really essential for an organization of our size, with 12% of the services being considered non-mandated. So these are services that still provide a public good of some kind, like the funding that I just mentioned that we provide to social service agencies, or funding that is provided to libraries, for example. But this does show that 88% of the services that Denton County provides is considered either mandated or essential services. And then here is a breakdown between salary and benefits, maintenance and operations, and capital. So about half of the budget is made up of personnel, with the other half being made up of maintenance and operation. And the 1% that's capital, that's basically equipment that is over the dollar threshold of $5,000, but it does not include anything that's a part of our capital budget. So like the funding that's issued for roads or for building maintenance that's paid for through bonds or tax notes, all of that is it's not included as part of the adopted budget process, so it is not included in this 1% capital figure. And then here you're seeing a breakdown of the various contingencies that we have within our non-departmental contingency summary, which is basically what we call our non-departmental unappropriated contingency, which is being budgeted at $8.1 million. As I mentioned, that is an increase of $2.1 million over last year. And probably one of the notable changes there, you'll see that there is a market adjustment contingency that's being budgeted at $1.5 million, depending on what happens with the salary study that gives the court some options to utilize that funding. But there are no other notable changes within the breakdown of contingencies. And here's the breakdown of the Permanent Improvement Fund. So the Permanent Improvement Fund is being budgeted at $34.4 million, and you'll see that preventative maintenance is there at the top at $4.7 million. To the right of that, you'll see that architect fees is being budgeted at $3.1 million. $2 million of that is related to the design for the fire station. And then you'll also notice to the right of that there is remodeling funding being budgeted at $1.3 million. $300,000 of that is related to the replacement of the admin doors that was budgeted in FY 2025, but that project was not completed. So we're simply moving funding to FY 2026 for that project. And then on the bottom left, you'll see that there is $70 million being budgeted for road planning. And as you know, every year we budget for road planning, so there is also additional funding that's available within fund balance specifically for road projects. And then on the blue towards the top left, you'll see the Phase 2 electrical and generator upgrade project budgeted at $6.6 million, which I mentioned earlier. That is mostly the reason for the increase in the budget. That is a new project that was included as part of the CIP. And then here you're looking at a comparison between the funding that's provided to the libraries between FY 2025 adopted and FY 2026 recommended. You can see that the funding is increasing by 10,600. And this funding does not impact the tax rate in any way. It's being funded through our Chapter 381 fund. Funding basically comes from the unclaimed capital credits from like the cooperative corporations. And essentially, there's 11 of the 17 public libraries within Denton County that choose to participate in this, where we provide funding to these libraries, and then in return, they provide full access to all of their services to any residents within Denton County. And the change in funding is basically determined by the change in population within these cities as well as within unincorporated areas of Denton County. And so here we're getting to the positions. You can see that as part of the budget, there were 69.125 full-time equivalent position requests. And out of those, the recommended budget includes 31.625 full-time equivalent position requests. So based on those recommendations, the financial impact is 4.2 million before some of these other changes that you'll see. So we've also included the deletion of 9 positions as part of the recommended budget. That does include some deletions that are offsetting the cost of new position requests, but it also includes the deletion of the 3 positions in DPS that you'll recall last year the court took action to fund that the last year utilizing fund balance. And one of those positions that's being deleted does have a effective date of 6 months into FY 2026 for clarification. And then there are also 4 additional grant positions that are being absorbed as part of the recommended budget. Those are positions for the magistrate court that were previously funded through the Texas Department of Indigent Defense Grants. As you'll recall, that was a step-down grant. So for FY 2025, the county was basically funding about 80% of those positions through grant contingency. So while it shows an impact of $363,000, because that is the cost for salary and benefits for those positions, the actual impact to next year's budget for absorbing those positions is really closer to $75,000. So with all of these changes, you will see that there are a net new number of positions being added in the amount of 26.625. And that does have a financial impact of 3.6 million, though that number is really closer probably to maybe 3.2 million. There were also some positions that were offset through the reduction of some contract labor as well. And I'll mention those in this next slide here. So here you're seeing those departments that we're recommending new positions for and the amount of positions. Those first 2 are also positions that were previously grant funded for a couple of the courts that we're recommending to absorb as part of the budget. And then for Justice of the Peace Precinct 6, we are recommending a Deputy Clerk 1 position. For juvenile probation, we're recommending a counselor position, and that is one of those positions that's mostly being offset through the reduction of some contract labor as well. For the tax assessor, we are recommending 1 Deputy Clerk 3 position. For the probate court administration, we're recommending 1 probate court administrator attorney, and the majority of that cost as well is being offset through the deletion of another position. For public health, we're recommending an epidemiologist position. For the county auditor, we're recommending 3 positions, 2 of which are internal auditors and an audit manager. For the criminal district attorney's office, we're recommending a magistrate JP attorney as well as a mental health attorney. For elections administration, we're recommending 2 voter registration clerks, which again are being offset about 90% through the reduction of contract labor as well. And for facilities management, we're recommending 3 maintenance and repair specialist 1 positions. For the fire marshal and Denton County Fire and Rescue, we're recommending a fire inspector as well as an assistant chief of fire and rescue. And for the sheriff's office, we're recommending 11 positions, which is about a third of the positions on here. But they also make up about 30% of the entire general fund budget. And within those positions, we included several deputy sheriff positions. There are 4 deputy sheriff positions specifically for patrol, as well as 2 for building security. That's mainly going to be for elections, and then 1 for the Lee Walker Government Center, as well as a deputy sheriff for the transport division, as well as for the extradition division, which do fall under the justice management umbrella.
Alejandro, but that doesn't include because we did also expand the correction officers number as well, right? Which is included. I mean, I guess we did that this year.
For the additional detention officer
Yes,
funding?
yes.
So the budget includes the funding for the additional 40 detention officers as well.
Right.
Yeah, so that is included in the FY 2026 budget so that the sheriff's office can continue to fill those positions.
Yep. Just want to make sure we have that.
And then for technology services, we're recommending a network engineer as well as a GIS analyst position. And then here you'll see the number of employees that we have in Denton County, basically the number of employees per capita, which means like if you look at that last column for FY 2026, it basically means that we have 1.87 employees for every 1,000 residents. So you can see there that as the population goes up, has been going up from 2017 to 2026, that the per capita rate has continued to go down. That just is basically showing that as the population increases, we've remained fairly conservative with the number of new positions that have been added year after year. And then here you're seeing that same per capita rate for Denton County and Orange compared against the per capita rate, the employee per capita for the other top 14 counties in the state by population. And I do want to note that last year we did have the third lowest number, so we've gone from the third to the lowest, to the second lowest now number of employees per capita. And then here you'll see a 10-year history of the adjusted taxable value for Denton County, which basically is all the taxable value excluding new construction. So you can see that for tax year 2025, there was 172.7 billion of adjusted taxable value, which is a 7.9% increase from the prior year. So it is an increase. It's not as much of an increase as the year before. The year before, there was an increase of 8.2% from 2023 to 2024. But you can see there that going back to 2016, that still represents a 133% increase just across these last 10 years. And then here you're looking at new construction. The tax assessor did mention last year that new construction value was a decrease compared to the prior year, and you can see that here. For tax year 2025, you do have $6.2 billion in new construction, which is approximately $2 billion less than the prior year. And so basically, depending on what the value is and what the tax rate is, like for tax year 2025, that $6.2 billion with our recommended tax rate for next year produces approximately $11.6 million in tax revenue. But if you look at that prior year with $8.4 billion in new construction value and with the 2025 adopted tax rate, that produced approximately $15.8 million in revenue. So just, how, depending on how values change and how the tax rate change, that kind of results in either a higher revenue or less revenue. And then here you're starting to see the tax rate. So that very first row there is showing you the current tax rate for FY 2025. For FY 2025, we have an adopted tax rate of 0.187869. The tax rate for FY 2026, the recommended tax rate that was used to balance the recommended budget, is 0.185938. So that is a reduction of 0.001931 in the tax rate. And then you can see there that recommended rate is below the voter approval tax rate. That's that tax rate that you have to that you can't exceed without triggering an election. And then you'll see that we are about 1% below the current adopted tax rate, as well as 3.891649% above the no new revenue tax rate. And once again, here you are seeing an illustration of what an individual living in the city of Denton would pay in taxes to three separate taxing entities, the Denton Independent School District, the city of Denton, and Denton County, if they had the average home value of $510,263. So basically, they would be paying $9,839 in taxes, You can see the breakdown there at the bottom right. 10% of that is going to the county, with the other 90% going to both the school district and the city of Denton. And the only difference here, of course, is the difference in the tax rates that these three taxing entities have. And so here, as you know, we do basically a survey with the top 15 counties in the state by population every year, where we collect information such as population estimates and tax rate information as well. And then we'll graph it. You can see that here, where we have graphed the just the county tax rates. So in comparison against these other counties, we have the second lowest just county tax rate across these 15 counties by population in the state. And then we also do, as you can see on this next slide, we also look at the county-wide tax rates. So if you're looking at all those tax rates that are assessed county-wide, Denton County does have the lowest, because in Denton County we don't have like community college districts or other hospital district taxing entities that tax county-wide. So that's the reason why it's the lowest in Denton County. And then here you're looking at the budget per capita for these top 15 counties once again. And you can see that Denton County does have the lowest budget per capita at $423 per every 1,000 residents. And last year we did have the second lowest budget per capita. So we've gone from having the second lowest to the lowest, which again kind of represents basically just how we're remaining conservative, not only in the number of positions that we're adding, but also in the way that the budget is changing. And here is a comparison of debt obligation. So you're looking at only debt that has been issued, so you're not looking at any unissued debt, and you're only looking at the principal of that debt that has been issued. You're not looking at any required interest payments either. But you can see there that in orange, Denton County is below the average debt obligation. And again, as you know, with those counties that are growing the fastest usually are those that are having to issue debt to build more roads and things like that. So even with that, Denton County is still below average there. And then this is showing a comparison across the 254 counties. And you can see there that Denton County in orange does have the 7th lowest tax rate in the state. That average as well, the average tax rate has continued to go up, but Denton County's tax rate has continued to go down. Which of course means that we do, once again, can't say that we continue to have the lowest tax rate still that we've had since 1986. And then here you'll see that breakdown going back to 1986, showing the tax rate, both it's showing the debt rate in orange as well as the M&O rate in blue. So as you can see from the last few columns there, as I mentioned, it's been about, going back to 2021, we've lowered the tax rate it has been by over 4.5 cents. And then that does conclude the presentation. We will be releasing the detailed recommended budgets this morning, and we also have budget workshops scheduled for today as well as next Tuesday. And then next Tuesday is when the court will need to vote to propose a tax rate, since we just went over the recommended rate. Next Tuesday is also when the court will need to set the dates for the required public hearings, which are going to be held on September 9th. September 9th is also when the court will need to vote to adopt a budget as well as a tax rate based on our current budget calendar.
Okay.
Judge, may I compliment Alejandro and his department? These slides are so easy to read, and for a visual person like myself, it just has been very, very helpful. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We try to make them easy for just residents and taxpayers to follow along.
Well, I think that's part of our efforts for transparency, so people can understand what their local government is doing. I do want to thank you, Alejandro, and the budget office and everyone that works together to pull this budget to this point. And I want to appreciate all the elected officials and department heads and the court for being involved in the process to get us to this moment. I believe that our compensation is as important to the Commissioners Court. It's also to our workforce, our over 2,000 employees, and so we want to maintain a competitive compensation plan, and so this helps balance the needs of the taxpayers and also with our workforce and growing workforce. I do want to say for the employees who are watching, we do not anticipate any insurance premiums increasing, because I think that's important to note as we work through this process. I wanted everybody who's watching to hear that. Members, are there any other questions or comments? We do have a couple of appeals this afternoon. That we'll get to. Any comments from members?
I just want to echo what you said, Judge. The budget office each year keeps doing better and better at presenting us a balanced budget, which we have to have, but doing the best they can to take care of the employees. And, it's everything's increasing. If you've been to the grocery store lately, or have your car done, or whatever you've had done, things are increasing. And I'd like to ask elected officials to continue to be mindful of the tax dollars that we're using and request what's needed and not what's not needed. And not only every elected official, that includes us also. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Judge.
All right, yes, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody that was involved. Obviously, this is a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize, and thank you to all the elected officials for their time and patience, and the ones that have, met with us and have expressed your needs and concerns. And obviously, everybody here wants to take care of their employee and offer the best service we can to the citizens of Denton County. That's really our primary job. One thing that I would like to challenge the elected officials and the directors of our departments is, I know in the mindset of people when it comes to budgeting, it's got that mindset of use it or lose it type deal. And what I want to make sure everybody realizes here is this group up here is not here and I'll make sure that budgeting and everybody else feels the same way. We don't need to have that type of mentality, because at the end of the year, I see a lot of dollars trying to be spent just to get rid of everything that's been put in your budget, because you're worried if you don't spend it, then you won't get it next year. Let me assure you, from my perspective, that if you don't use it and it comes back to our big collective budget, which I would appreciate, it does not mean that next year you're going to be cut in those areas that you didn't use. So try to be responsible near the end of the year and not just spend money to buy stuff that you don't absolutely need. If you have dollars left over, please let that return back to the fund balance or wherever it's supposed to go back to. I apologize, I don't know exactly.
That's it.
Okay, there you go. I got something right today. The fund balance, and I'll challenge you guys to do that. Obviously, we're not in the private sector, so there's not the type of rewards that we can give to you for doing a wonderful job, but believe me, I will come up with some legal way, whether I personally have to do something for your whole department. I would love for us to come up with a way to challenge each of you in a percentage-wise of not just feeling like you have to spend every dime that's in your budget. So really take that to heart, into consideration. I'd love to see a nice big amount come back this next year because of how wonderful a job you folks do. So thank you, Judge.
Absolutely. All right, any other comments? All right, thank you. And this is, again, day one of the presentation process, so we appreciate y'all being here. All right, let's go to executive session. Let me get back here to the back. Got a couple of items, which is 15.8 under Texas Government Code 551072, deliberation regarding real property, closed meeting, deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. If deliberation in open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of a governmental body in negotiations with a third person. And 15B, under Texas Government Code 5510744581, personal matters affecting the county advisory body, closed meeting, deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a member of an advisory body to with the Denton County MHMR Board of Trustees, and the appropriate action. And it is 10:55, and we're in executive session.